Here are my learning targets for the month of October. These are the standards that we'll be working on, that will be embedded into our centers, that we'll be doing large group and small group lessons on. Let me share with you just a few things that I do for each one of these. You can be safe and follow rules. I always used to have a hard time with this. Our old standards had like 5 different learning targets for safety rules. And I always had trouble turning that into a large group lesson. And then I decided it really is more of just a discussion. So what I did is I made some safety cards that we could discuss one each day. So it takes just a minute a day, and I like having some visuals here, and then we can just have a minute conversation about it. So the first one is, we can keep ourselves safe by following safety rules. Little children should not be touching the stove. This is hot. You have to be careful around that. Make sure you're following the safety rules outside. When you're going to use the slide, you go up the stairs and down on your bottom. You shouldn't be touching a sharp knife that's in your kitchen. Be careful when you're using scissors, things like that. So we're just going to talk about some basic safety rules. The next one, we can understand what will happen if unsafe behaviors are used. So if they had touched that knife, you could have gotten cut. If you touch that hot stove, you can get burnt. If you're not staying with your parents when you're out in public, you could get lost. After talking about the safety rules, this is the consequences that could happen if we use those unsafe behaviors. And we can understand that adults keep us safe in many ways. So talking about how different adults can keep you safe. You can follow safety rules for the bus and the road. So they have to know that they wait until we call their name to get on the bus. When we're walking to the bus, you have to make sure you're staying in your line, right? You shouldn't be crossing a road without an adult. So it's following those safety rules for the road. And then this is for our safety drills. We can follow directions for safety drills. So a fire drill, a tornado drill, and an intruder drill, what they should do for those. You can find these on my website. The next one, we can name shapes and tell about them. Even though this is an October standard, we did already do a shape a day in the month of September. So we're going to do just some review with the shapes. And this time we'll talk more about like how many sides they have and things like that. We can sort things to see what's the same and different. So I try to, at my centers, at my bin center, I always try to pull out activities that they're doing these standards naturally. So let me show you actually a few of my bins that are in here now that match these standards. So for this one, they're always sorting between the colors here. Actually, this will also be great for when we start with patterns here in the next week. This is actually meant to be a sorting toy. It has different colors, shapes, and sizes, so they can sort by color, shape, or size. This one is a measuring bin, so there are different size cars, and they can put them on the road and measure. They are also sorting at our farmers market right now. We have a bin of orange, red, yellow, green fruits and vegetables. And to clean up, or when they're buying from the store, they're all sorted by color. We can hold our pencils and crayons well to write and draw. So this is something that we have started already as well. When we started learning Mapman, I teach them pinching fingers. So let me see. So I've done both of these. So I do have a stack of broken crayons. So this makes it so that they have to use those pinching fingers. You can't really fist grip a little piece. So using broken crayons when they're coloring is a good idea. Or I do have handwriting without tears crayons that are mini as well. When they're using markers, it's a little difficult. I'm teaching them, I want to hold your marker all the way up here. That's hard to write with. So you pinch it all the way down towards the tip. And these two are your pinching fingers. Everybody show me your pinching fingers. You're going to pinch your marker, and then your other finger holds it up, and then these two fingers are tucking in here. Every time that they're drawing or we're doing an activity at the tables, I'm checking their grip. A lot of them will revert back to this, and all I do is just take it and change it. This is something that just takes a lot of practice and a lot of habit. So every time I see it, I'm correcting it with them. And then also adding in things like Theraputty and Play-Doh and beads. So anything you can do to get those muscles stronger in the hands is going to help with holding a writing utensil as well. So let me show you. This is one of the favorites in the classroom, Theraputty. I found has different strengths. The pink seems to be the best for preschool. So, and I have these little gems in here. We like to hide them and then find them. This is really hard. I tell them when you're using this, friends, your hands are getting stronger. Oh my goodness. So this is not like normal putty or clay. This is specifically meant to strengthen those hand muscles. Okay, but they have a ball with this. They love it. All right, we can measure and compare things. So we're going to be measuring gourds at the Science Center with, what are they called? Well, I don't know, those little square cubes that click together. They're going to be measuring pumpkins and gourds and see which one's the tallest, which one's the shortest, and they'll be doing that on their own independently at the Science Center. For one of our large group lessons, we're going to measure every student how many pumpkins tall they are. So they'll actually lay on the floor and we'll line the pumpkins up beside them. So when you're measuring, you start at the very bottom, so right where their feet start, and you stop at their head. So we're teaching like, what does measuring look like? It can't go past their head. We're measuring how many pumpkins tall they are, and then we're going to count how many pumpkins tall each friend is. And the last one, we can understand pattern. Patterns are everywhere in our classroom, really the entire year, but this is when we introduce them. So I'm going to be doing a small group with magnetic blocks where we're creating patterns. We'll do a pattern on our calendar in the month of October. So it'll be like leaf pumpkin, leaf pumpkin. We start with just A-B patterns. We'll be doing shape punch outs where they create their own pattern when we're done to assess whether they know it or not. But overall, we'll have patterns in our bins and our centers, and we'll do lots of lessons, and you'll see lots of that coming in my videos here in October.